What up, everybody? Duck here. Welcome to the stream. A little bit later than normal. I was in some conference voice meetings, whatever you want to call it. Zoom. Yeah. So we got Bitcoin here. Okay, so we're basically what's going on is we're approaching this see, we have our range midpoint here, our range low, our range high. Okay, so Bitcoin, you know, we came down. Let me move this a little bit over now that we saw that. Okay, so basically when we were up top here, we put in the high, right? This big C high up here on June 15th at 41, basically 41. Yeah, 41. And then of course, you know, we had this, if I zoom in a little more, we had this bearish divergence up here with it. We ended up selling off all the way down, right, to 28.8, and we put in this current low. Well, I mean, yes, you went that far, don't get me wrong, but up here where you closed at 31.3 was, you know, more important, to be honest. And that was above the range low, but also very much so testing the range low, right? You went right down to it, came back above it, closed above it, and then followed through price action above the range low. But long story short, range high, came down to the midpoint failed, back tested as resistance, put in this current local high, and then you sold off to the low, right? So now we go the other way, right? So now that we've put in the low, it's time to go back to the range midpoint. Similar how we did here. We put in the high and we went back to the midpoint, right? So until we get out of this range and find a new range, this is just going to be up and down between 42 and 32, basically. 41 and 31, whatever you want to call it. So we've basically, you know, we've hit this low, recovered, and now started putting in a slightly higher high and a higher low, and now we have another higher high. So ideally, this is starting to reverse the trend a bit here. Okay, now you are seeing a couple harmonics here that could show us coming back down to towards the range low, not necessarily all the way there. For example, if I remove this one, it's possible that all you do is come back to this C low, okay? And that's it, and then you rally. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a complete range low double bottom, but it can be. Okay, but it sure can be. You get the low, then you get the higher low, right? So don't be surprised if it does happen. Okay, so what are we gonna what's gonna tell us that? Okay, so for one, we could invalidate all this, right? How do we do that? We just break through it and get back above this range midpoint, and then follow through price action, and then both of these would just get trumped, right? And at that point, we would still simply be looking at the shark by itself, right? And it would just say, okay, I'm just continuing on my way all the way up, right? Up only. So yes, of course, that's also an option. So what'll tell us that this isn't going to happen? Same thing, right? The opposite reaction. If we reject right here, okay, we reject right here and we start selling off, well, now what we have is the possible morph of the bullish shark into a bearish 5-0, right? We talked about that as well, where we may simply go up to the range midpoint and then the 5-0 kicks in and we come right back down, right? So this would be how that would occur, okay? And technically we've already done step one, right? Step one's already happened. We've painted the first leg of the what was required. Get back to that 50, right? The range midpoint. Not only is it the range midpoint, right, but it also happens to be the 50% fib level. And of course, I mean, that makes sense, right? Midpoint 50, right? So from high to low, well, we took it to the harmonic, right? We could go all the way to the wick. If we go all the way to the wick, you're above it. But the wick isn't the harmonic, right? The rule comes from the 1-3. The 1.13 is a 50% retracement from the 113, not from the wick low, right? It's from the 113. So if we're following the rules and we take it to the harmonic, and some people will say, they've asked in the chat even just today, and I'm glad we just touched on this, why isn't this D anchor point all the way at the bottom of the wick, right? On the shark. What it is on these two, why isn't it on the shark? Look, when we get to a D, right, you have these harmonics, X, A, B, C, D, right? Whenever you get to this D, that's when the harmonic is valid, okay? It's not valid here, it's not valid here, it's not valid here, it's not even valid here. It's only valid here at the D. And what is the D? It's the pattern completion zone, okay? The pattern has completed. Makes sense? All right. So once we reach a completion zone, the key word in there is zone, okay? It's not a dollar amount. It's not a set dollar amount, okay? It's a zone. You see this? It's a zone, right? So if I were a zone, you see how the wick doesn't, you see where I'm getting at here? It's a zone. We layer. It's never an exact dollar amount. Not on a shark, maybe on a Gartley, but even still, it would be a zone. It would never ever be one solid order at $1 amount for me. Never. It's always layers. It's always layers. Do I always fill them all? No. Do I care? No. Right? So if you layer in the zone, yes, the wick may have fell a little bit out of your zone, but it immediately came right back up. It was intraday price action. It was on a low time frame that you wicked out. On the 4 hour, you in that same candle, you went all the way to 28.8 and then immediately back to a close above 31 within the same 4 hours, and it was even less time than that. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I would say that this is a very, very significant area that we're at right now. Of course it is, because look, you have, for one, you do have a harmonic completing a D, okay? You're at a completion zone of a harmonic. So you can short, you don't have to short here, but what I'm saying is price can sell off from here, okay? And your targets would be the C and then the A, but you don't have to get all the way to the A, because in bullish conditions, okay, if we're in very bullish conditions here, your bearish pattern is not going to play out all the way through, okay? It's gonna kind of putterly play out and then go again, right? So okay, so it's possible, if we do reject here, your first thing you're going to see is testing this downsloping trend line, okay? And then if you fall below that, you're going to see this neckline again. And if you fall below that, that's when you got the range low, okay? So that's your three options. So you're going to be watching the oscillate. This is coming from a lower time frame, okay? This is coming from the hourly. Let's zoom in. This is smaller time frame stuff. Why? Because that's where your divergence is, okay? Your divergence is coming from the lower time frame here, okay? You see this? So even maybe some tail end RSI divergence possibly developing towards the top of the if the RSI were a range, right? If I were the range, maybe I have some divergence, okay? Anyways, that all being said, this pattern is more low time frame. It's gonna play out much faster because its oscillators are only on the hourly. That divergence right there on the MACD is not on the 4-hour. Okay, so all this is a low time frame reset. Okay, so even if you don't come, okay, the reason we have this cipher, okay, is because you got a 1272 up top, 1272, and then you'd have a 786 on the bottom with a 50 on the middle. So a cipher is there in blue, okay. But and the cipher also, you'd have a 786 with a 114, okay. So that's where the range low kind of lines up. So it is something to keep in mind, okay. But let's say we never get that and we just deal with this. Well, fibbing from high to low, golden retrace 382 to 618, that's right where that that C target was, okay. 32.2, okay. So let's say we just back test this area between 32.2 and 32 like 7, okay. That would be right in the golden zone. It would also be a 50% retracement. Dow's theory, when an asset runs up, it commonly retraces 50% of the way. That's the 50. That's the golden zone. That's the C. That's a neckline kind of back test, a little bit deeper, but maybe that was where it was, okay. So that's something we want to look for if we get a rejection here, at least to right here. It's also the upsloping trend line, right? Boom, boom, we back test that as support, right? And then we continue on our merry way. So I would look at it like that. Personally, at the moment, we don't have to get this cipher, but just know that if this continues to sell off and you start back testing these areas and this doesn't hold, right, this upsloping yellow trend line, you can get the range low again and look for a double bottom there, right? That would complete the cipher and you'd hit the bottom of that golden zone. It is possible, okay? It is in the cards. So it just a big shakeout before the real continuation up to Valhalla, right? So let's see how that plays out probably overnight, really. By the morning, we're gonna know if this has either broken out above and invalidated these harmonics and is continuing just immediately and invalidating the bearish 5-0, right? The morph of the shark into the 5-0, we don't want that. So we need to invalidate it right here at the midpoint. This is where it all goes down, okay? So we wake up, we're either above this, right? Or we've rejected it and we've sold off. And now we're trying to figure out where we're going to stabilize, okay? So it's one or the other overnight. And this is the critical decision point. So you have a FTX account, you can hedge. You can open right now at this exact moment 2 positions. You can have a short position opened right here with a stop above the X, okay? So stop would be above all this previous high up here, okay? So you could have a stop up there, okay? Stop above it, and you'd be targeting at least this kind of B, right? There's like a 3-to-1 right there. So open a hedge just in case, and then you should already be long right now. You should be long right now from below. So keep your long open, and this is a hedge against your long in case your long we want that long way higher, right? Way up higher at least. So the long right now, there's your 3-to-1 right there. So on the long, you just have it open still, right? You haven't closed, and then you're just simply hedging your bet in the opposite direction. If this short gets stopped out, so be it. The long keeps printing, right? And if the short was right, you're not going to get hurt on your long. You're not going to really lose anything because you're going to gain it all right here on this nice little scalp short. And then once you close this, you can add this back to this long and you can run back up with even more. So it's up to you. There's like ways to play this, right? So you just have to, see if you're going to even be able to monitor this short, right? If you're going to take that could happen overnight. You could wake up, that could have hit, and is already back, right? And it could have hit the target and already stopped you out, both, right? So you got to monitor it because it's such a low time frame on that, okay? So just keep that in mind. There's ways to hedge your positions in the opposite direction for protection, right? Okay. Moving along. Russian Ethereum breaking out, looking good. This Gartley. See, remember, man, I was not convinced that this dang wick. It just did not convince me. Okay, it was a stupid wick, and yeah, it wrecks a lot of shit. Don't get me wrong, but kind of looks like a ground. That's how we make a ground symbol in electrical. Anyways, so this Gartley, I mean, to be honest, its structure does not look bad here, right? So there's your completion zone, right? That gray box, that's your layered zone. Yes, you fell below it, but really you got bought right back up, and then you had a massive engulfing right back above it all, and then you back tested the bottom of that range that we had already drawn this box over here. Okay, look how we respected it, and now it's above the entry. Okay, so like this is pretty good, right? We're not upset about this. Yes, could this double bottom, whatever, right? You have this low, you run down a little bit, you put in a slightly higher low, you have this neckline, there's our structure, right, that we're used to. So don't worry about it. Again, it's going to follow Bitcoin. But that being said, remember, on ETH to BTC, you're double bottoming already at the entry. You had this 1 and 2 lows, right? So you're ready to roll on ETH BTC. So if BTC wants to roll over right here and sell back off a bit, maybe, just maybe, Russian Ethereum holds up a little bit better and doesn't sell off as bad, therefore resulting in the ETH BTC to start its journey on its way up. And just because this is going up doesn't mean BTC can't go up with it. It just means that the ETH USDT pair the ETH BTC pair, ETH will be outperforming it. Therefore, the ETH USDT pair is going to full send, okay? Full send. That's why, I know I'm trolling a bit because we're only at $2,000, and I'm the first one to say, don't be calling that moon boy shit. But we're not just calling it off nothing. Look at this, okay? So if I get this, and Bitcoin's going on its way towards 40, 50, 60, I don't know. Call it 42 for start, and then like 55, right? If that's happening and this is outperforming it, that's why ETH can really send it, okay? On the USDT pair. Now, how do we get to 6,000? Okay, what we're doing is we're looking at the very, very discernible swing high and they swing low, okay? So we're taking our fib tool and we're going to fib from the swing high on May 12th to the swing low on May 23rd, and we're going to go and find the golden mean ratio, the 1618. Well, look where that is. 1618 at 618. You see that? You see that kind of shit? All right. So that is where 6K comes from, okay? Now, of course, before it, you have this 1272 at 5K, and 5K's critical psychological round number, but 6K is sitting up there at that golden mean ratio, all right? Now, prior to that, you got this square up here where you're going to hit and make a bat, right? We always make the bat first, right? So okay, so we go X, A, B, 886 here, 886 somewhere there, okay, and then 88. What are we looking at? Yeah, 886. Okay. So that would be a really deep retracement here. Boom, bring this up here. Boom. So yeah, right at 4K. So 4, 5, 6. Okay, makes sense. 4, 5, 6. So first you're gonna have a bat, right? You're gonna have a bat. But if the bat gets exceeded, okay, you then turn it into the butterfly. Make sense? You see how the butterfly and the bat. Let me okay, there you go. So first you'd have this 1272, and then you'd have this 1618. Okay, this is where your mega short would be. Okay, don't let us be fooled at 6K again. Okay. All right, that being said, of course, first you got to invalidate the bat, because it's possible that the bat could be it, right? That you don't make a higher high, because you have a high up here and that would be a lower high, right? So the bat must first be invalidated, and sometimes the bat will sell off a bit, right? Just like right now we're expecting the 5-0. You're still going to get a little reaction there, right? But it doesn't have to be nothing crazy. It could still continue, right? So say you get a sell-off to the 50 or the 1618 here, okay? And then you paint like hidden bearish divergence right here, okay? Something like that, and then you get the continuation from this point somewhere, okay? So it could still play out like that, giving the bat a chance to play out, but then of course, right, still then morphing and eventually allowing the butterfly to hit, right? So that's how we end up at these 4, 5, 6,000 levels on Russian Ethereum. Okay. So yeah, ETH BTC 4 hour looking really good to outperform for ETH to outperform Bitcoin. Okay, so that's kind of the story over the next kind of couple 10 days to 3 weeks, right? Is that ETH is going to outperform BTC. Okay, so that's what we want to keep an eye on. All right, moving on to Litecoin. Litecoin is approaching that downsloping trend line again, right? So we have that touch point 1, touch point 2, touch point 3, touch point 4. So this has been very regarded. So extremely critical for us to get above this and back test it as support, like we did here, but failed, right? We failed and sold off. So what we need to do is do the same thing, right? But hold and rally, okay? And eventually break that high at 182, right? Boom. We need to get above and through that. Again, this is going to follow Bitcoin. So it's possible if Bitcoin wants to give us a little sell-off, Litecoin sells off, right? Then you paint this bottom right here, and then you rally, and you have this like neckline, and you have this slightly higher low double bottom. That's where we get that structure that we're always, looking for. And it even becomes like a measured move, right? You almost measured move yourself, clone that measured move. That ends you up, in the area where you're breaching this target, okay? So keep that in mind as we, as Litecoin develops here, okay? So again, this sell-off would simply just be following Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going to morph into that 5-0, and then you just get the higher low, look for the hidden bullish divergence, okay? And Litecoin will eventually make its way up into our $200 area zone, okay? You just got to be patient and don't be over leveraged, don't be over positioned. Take a little bit off, right? But also, keep some long. This is where you can hedge, right? You can short right here, but keep your long open. Because your entry is so good, you don't want to lose it. You just take a short hedge in the time being on the low time frame. Same thing that you were doing here on Bitcoin, right? You were just taking that little hedge as protection, right? As protection, just in case this wants to sell off, right? You don't necessarily know that this is going to breach this heart line midpoint, right? Range midpoint. We don't know that it's going to breach on this first attempt. This might take 3 shots, right? 1, 2, sell off, Here's shot number 3. That's where we breach it, and then we go. Okay, so we this happens, right? Everyone gets all, oh my god, we're gonna go, and then blah, and then they get all sad and close, and then we go, right? So that's how that's done. Okay. We gotta watch for it. But again, we could also completely just smoke through everything and just go. All right, this is definitely also in the cards because the 4 hour is not showing that low time frame divergence. Okay, this came from the hourly. That came from the hourly, so not the 4 hour. Look, the RSI is above that 50. Okay, so RSI is looking for up only on the 4 hour. That's why that 1 hour is not going to do a whole ton, right? And the MACD on the the MACD on the 4 hour is just showing up still here, right? You haven't even waned. So the 4 hours still really strong, okay? That's why, yes, it is possible, for us to just completely send it right at this very moment and continue this send to the range high that we've been working on since we painted the 113 Sharky. All right, so let's see again. Let's just see what's up. All right, moving along. OMG, we had this butterfly. We had a perfect Gartley over here, and you had the divergence, and you had the RSI divergence, right? Man. Okay, RSI divergence. You had it on the MACD. You had it, you know what I mean? Gartley and Bitcoin. It's up to Bitcoin every time. Bitcoin just sold off again, so you didn't get the Gartley. Instead of the Gartley, now we have this butterfly, and we are still looking for these same targets as the Gartley anyways, but it just developed a little different. So again, look, this is very possible that you have this like V, and then you get the rounded bottom, neckline, measured move. Okay, it's like that Adam and Eve double bottom, right? Where you have the V-shaped recovery followed by the rounded. Okay, the V with the round. Okay, measured move brings you back up to that next resistance area at like 550. Okay, so let's start there, and we need to of course breach that. Okay, so this sells off, paints a higher low, hidden bullish divergence, run up, get above this, get above, hit this, maybe sell back off, get it on the next time. Okay, so let's look for that on OMG. Moving along, AVAX, same exact thing. Okay, no different. V-shaped, maybe get the rounded neckline, breach through somewhere else, make your way up. Okay, eventually you're targeting $17, but the high is up around 2021. Okay, so you're just filling, you're just accumulating your this is just accumulation. You're in the completion zone of the harmonic, and yeah, you're just building positions here. Okay, making sure that you're in longs, making sure that you're not over positioned or over leveraged where you're going to get stopped out before the party even starts, right? Because look guys, we're talking about massive targets here. Okay, that's 200-300%. Okay, so even on the low side, that's 130. Okay, so don't get chopped up in this little 14% range because you're getting greedy too early. Just build a little position, and it's time. Buy this dip and then rally. Okay, so that's it. FTM, same thing. VW or V round, Adam and Eve double bottom. Okay, you have the same thing happening across the board. We're still targeting this square up top. Okay, so 65 cents to 70 cents FTM. Again, you don't want to lose this harmonic, so you'd have a stop at like 17 cents with the target at 70. Okay, so if you were in a long, right, you were already long on a lot of this This is why you're utilizing your hedge at this point. We don't want to give up our good positions, okay? But 7.5 to 1 on your money. You take this every day and you just be patient with it. And yeah, okay. Missed ETH, good to still be long. Yeah, good to still be long, but again, we said even ETH could have a small little retracement again and give you that V round, okay? So don't be afraid if ETH does that. It's fine. Just know it's low time frame price action. Overall, yeah, look what we're looking at. ETH 4,000, okay? 5,000, 6,000. Yes, it's okay to be long on ETH. It's not okay though to be over leveraged and over positioned. Okay, those are two different things. Okay, so FTM, send, FTT, got this downsloping trend line, right, that we've been dealing with here. So it looks like maybe we reject it one more time, and as we round bottom, we get through it. Okay, and we get this neckline, we get this measured move, we get this structure. Okay, this gets us up here to this next area where we end up at this next support, okay, our resistance area. So we got to get up here. Maybe we reject it the first time, go through it the second time, back test it, and we're on our merry way, right? So that is FTT. Again, you don't want to lose this low at like 22.50, and you're targeting much higher prices, okay? So there was your, I mean, you're literally going to play out the way you just did. I mean, do you want to see it? Okay, this is what you've just built. This is what you're doing. You excuse me, sorry. Okay, look, this is what you just did. Okay, you hit the completion zone. Okay, you come down and hit the completion zone. Now you rallied up. Okay, and then you sell back off and you get that double bottom with that slightly higher low, and then you rally. Okay, back test, rally up, break it, go. That's exactly what we just said in inverse, brah. Okay, same thing. Okay, you see it right there. It's right in front of you. Just mirror image. Okay, don't fight it. Magic 8 ball. Look, bruh, you gotta chill already, man. Do we have a chance here? Like FTT, FTM, AVEX, oh my god, AVE, all these shit coins, XLM. Are we going to be able to rally for a change? Magic 8 ball, sir? Moon. Very nice. Good to see you on a, I mean, it's not that you haven't been on our team. We just haven't been listening, I guess, right? So, Magic 8 ball says it's time to accumulate a position to the moon. Accumulate fuel, supplies, stock up. We're on our way. XLM, same thing. V shape into the rounded heart line. Let's go. Targets 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, right? Psychological nickels. Okay? So question, do I ever answer my Twitch? Negative. DM on Twitter. Okay, XLM, same thing. You're just watching a mirror image across the board here, okay? So accumulation, okay? Buy zones, okay? Buy it. Anytime you get something in here, you buy it. If you're done in here, well, you've already bought. If you get more, you buy more, okay? Buy it. All right, that concludes the crypto section. Now we're going to take a look at a few stonks and just update ourselves, see where we are, okay? So on and we'll start with end phase. We hit the target 1, okay? Target 1 is done. All right, target 1 is done. All right, Next target would be 200. We might get a little sell off here, but again, it'd just be a small reset, right? You sell back off to previous resistance, flip it into support, and then you rally. No big deal. Okay. On the daily, that would do this. All right. Whatever. That gives us that right shoulder that we either have it or are gonna get it, right? Just depending. And that's our larger structure. Eventually we're looking for like 220. Okay, so no problem there. Up only. PayPal, PayPal, you are approaching the target one. Oh man, we almost got it today. We were off by we're up 2% on the day, another 2% today. We're off by 0.84% from target. Okay, PayPal's got this nice parabolic price action. Okay, aiming for, you know, ideally that 350, 360, 1618 golden mean ratio. Yeah, you might get a little sell off here, whatever, just choppy chop. Don't worry about breaching the parabolic curve. Okay, that's not a big deal. Okay, we're more concerned with this previous resistance now being regarded as support. Okay, don't worry about the parabolic breach. Okay, the breach. Moving on, Tesla. Remember we talked about this, like I don't know, we were basically like right here. Okay, and we said, all right, here it comes, guys, here it comes. We got this low, higher low, higher low, upsloping trend line, neckline approaching. We're just gonna, here in a day or two, we're just gonna gap the F up, right? And what did we do? Boom, gapped up. All right, so be like that sometimes. Up 11.5% on its high, aiming for the 720 overhead neckline resistance. Okay, that's gonna put a little bit of a stop into our party here, right? Rally up, probably hit it, sell back off, maybe all the way back to this previous resistance here that will now backtest as support, rally through this time, and then eventually make our way to 850. Okay, Tesla. Simp was up another 2% on the day. SNPS, Synopsys Technology Services, Synopsys Inc. Simping. They've been simping for, man, a good little while here. This has been a nice little up trend. Okay, so yeah, looks like we are, you know, continuing on our merry way towards that 290, 300 area. And yeah, imagine that, right? All this price action to the upside, and you pretty much already got your break, hook, and now your go. So you don't really have to back test that anymore. You can one more time, it doesn't hurt, but you don't need to. But imagine once you get up here, right, and you like diverge up here, and you hit this big old bat, oof, right? So that's going to be where you would put short put, and maybe that's where you back test it. Okay, so just an idea there as to what could happen. We'll know more when we get there, right? But it looks like this is in the cards for Simps. Nextera hanging out at entry, still time, still opportunity. Okay, yeah, we're still just in this long, just taking a little time to play out. It be like that sometimes. Patience, just chop. You're at the entry, nothing's wrong, chilling. QCOM, see, this is where Nextera NEE was, right? You're just hanging out in this entry chop. Okay, wait for that breakout. All right, you got it on everything, right? Tesla, you were just in that little chop, you got that breakout, right? So everything kind of does that. Just patience, just market maker accumulation in play. Okay, so moving on. Splunk, approaching target 1, 30% play here. We are going to pull out at target 1, look for a back sell off, and then maybe look to re-enter if this still looks good, right? There's it's like X, A, B, C, D, 886 right there, right? So bearish bat, we sell off at the bearish bat, back test the B, look to re-enter the B, look for the hidden bullish divergence, the double bottom there, hidden bullish divergence, right? And yeah, Splunk. IDEX, you're at this overhead neckline, overhead resistance, the neckline, right? So you know, we're any day now we're gonna breach through this. Okay, back test it and go. All right, target $4, IDEX. Next we have Momo. Momo is a much higher time frame play, 3-day play. Okay, whoops, you have a massive Sharky on Momo, so just buy a little Momo, add it to the portfolio, diversify, have some stonks along with your crypto. Okay, you're going to run this up. Okay, you're gonna run this up, double top, and then you're gonna sell back off as you morph into a 5-0, and that is going to be Momo. Okay, so looking back to BTC, let's go in on our 1 hour time frame because we are low time frame price action here for this current little sell-off. Sorry, wrong tool. Okay guys, there you have it. Watch out. Boom, 886 was hit on the bat. Okay, you have a bat in purple, you have a butterfly, I mean a cipher in blue. They're both live. No, the bat's live, the cipher not yet, but yeah, watch out. And what else is live is the morph of the shark, right? The shark. Let's bring these into the 1 hour. No. Okay, so what else is live is this shark, okay? Morphing into a 5-0. That happens at this range midpoint, okay? So you have that purple, purple bat on the hourly, and you have this 4-hour morph of a shark into a 5-0. So watch the F out, right? Here's your V into your rounded bottom. Okay, Adam and Eve double bottom, right? That's how your there's how your morph also gets to play out. Okay, you morph, you go right into that golden pocket, okay, between the 382 and the 618. All right, so watch out for a 32.5 31 back test. Okay, and if you, again, don't be afraid of it, embrace it, right? But just understand that that's probably going to happen while you're sleeping. Okay, so be happy if you wake up at 32.5. Don't be sad. Okay, all right, that's it. End of the stream. Duck out. Catch you in the Discord. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace.